Okay, all the numbers. The numbers. No, well, we never got a chance to go over.
Yes, that's all right. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to this regular meeting of the Temple City Council for Thursday, November 21st, 2013. Please rise as Pastor Superintendent Shelton Rhodes of the Greater Zion Church of God in Christ and Temple will lead us in the invocation, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. Well, if y'all wouldn't mind leading us, Commissioner Schuman and Ms. Long.
Thank you, Mayor. Every head bowed. Our Father God, we come before you once again to say thank you for this wonderful day that you've made, and we just thank you for how good you've been to us all year long. Even in this season of Thanksgiving, we have so many things to thank you for. We do thank you for our mayor. We thank you for our city council, for all these that are present to make our city Temple the greatest city that we can be. And Lord, we just pray that you order our steps and that you establish our goings. Grant us your wisdom today as we do your business. And we just thank you for all the things that you've done, what you're doing and going to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Honor our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And actually, Sharon Long and Commissioner Schuman, if you come on up, and I know you've got a special presentation to make this evening.
Mayor Dunn and council members, I'm here tonight to present you with a check in the amount of $78,260.10. These fees are collected through the vehicle registration for each vehicle that's registered in Bell County. And the fees are to be used for existing crossing guard programs. If the school district doesn't have a crossing guard program, then the funds may be spent on health, nutrition, child abuse prevention and intervention, or drug and alcohol abuse prevention. And since we've been collecting the fees, we started in April of 2001. We've delivered a little over $856,000 to the city of Temple. So, do you have anything to say?
For the record, I am not Judge Burroughs, like the agenda says.
Well, we're very happy to have you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Judge Burroughs couldn't make it tonight, so Mr. Schuman came in his place. And
Thank you for stepping in and leading us in the pledge. Do I get the check, Tracy, or would be better to? I think that would probably be safer that way. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And now, Mr. Sikora, I'm going to have a presentation of the 2013 Corporate Challenge Game Awards.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and I'd like Tracy to come up and help me with this. This was the second year the city has done the Corporate Challenge Games. It was in hiatus for a while. The Chamber had done it, and then the Mayor's Fitness Council asked that we start it up again. We started last year. This year we had 19 teams take part, about 1,000 different participants, which is really good, we think. And we are here tonight to present the winners in the different categories of their awards. And this event was chaired by Chuck Ram and Tracy Koslacek of our athletic staff, and I'd ask Tracy if she'd step up and do the presentations tonight while I call up the names. First is Division I, and Division I had 7 teams in it, and this is for companies that had up to 155 employees. CEFCO came in third place, Belco MFG came in second, and Harvest Technologies is the winner. And Chris Jackson is here to accept the trophy on behalf of them. Second is Division 2. This had 6 teams this year, and it was for teams or companies that had 156 to 400 employees. Third place was Panel Specialties. Second place was Acer, and the winner was PDI. And Terry Anderson and Robin Failer, just okay, are here to accept. This is a pretty competitive division, I'll tell you that, and PDI works real hard to win it. And Mayor, normally we'd ask you to help with the awards, but you'll find out shortly why we couldn't do that today. This is Division 3, which was our largest category, and this was for teams that had, or companies that had over 401 employees. There were 6 teams that took part. Third place was Walmart Supercenter. Second place was Scott and White, and the winner was City of Temple. And Mayor, we'd like you to come up and receive the award.
I didn't think I'd participated in any games. You want me to come down? Okay, is that what?
As lead cheerleader, you qualify to accept
Okay,
it.
I would have remembered. I hope I will.
I'd like to thank for sure all the members of the committee that helped out from Mayor's Fitness Council and Tracy and Chuck. It is quite a project to put this together. I think the teams that took part all enjoyed it and had a great time. We had some weather that kind of pushed us back a little bit, but it was a great event, and we look forward to doing it again this fall.
Great.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Ken. Next up, we have the opportunity for public comments. Citizens who desire to address the council on any matter may sign up to do so prior to this meeting. Public comments will be received during this portion of the meeting. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. No discussion or final action will be taken by the City Council. First up is Ms. Rosa Hernandez.
Good afternoon, thank you. I am Rosa Hernandez. As I was introduced, I live in the Western Hills Division of Temple. I am a member of various organizations in the city of Temple. I am here to support the right and the just. I am upset about the one-sidedness of the newspaper article about Judy Morales. I feel that she was tried by some people who were instrumental in reporting the incident and writing it. It mentioned violation of election rules, but didn't mention the laws that may have been violated by printing the article in review of this as a misdemeanor violation that may be harmful to Ms. Morales. I also question if the charter was from 1922 and the election happened in 2010, why are we just now hearing about this? And were all the rules looked at? Were past city council members and their employers looked at? Were the county employees looked at for this and similar issues? I'm also not going to touch on conflict of interest because as a past auditor, I know that if we start looking that we can find some undotted I's and T's. With the deficiencies and oversight that were put in print, I feel are pretty harmful and prejudicial. My consensus is that while I do support Ms. Morales on all of the good that she has done, and that this one bad incident, if she is indeed guilty of it, then she will be held fully responsible and accountable, just like any of us would be. But what I do disagree is that to be publicly humiliated without discovery, without the full discovery of what's going on, is not good. Is this a precedence that we want to set for by the city of Temple, and our people? I don't think that it's right as a Christian to judge. I don't think that none of us are sin-free. I think that those of us without sin, can throw the first stone at someone else. I know I can't do that, because but I do know that challenges that we have as women, as professional women and Hispanic women, there are other challenges that we have to overcome. I don't think that one mistake should be reason, as the paper quoted, to abruptly, end decades of goodwill. Let's move forward. Let's hold people accountable. Let's do the right things for the right reasons. The other thing that I encourage and ask the council members to always support is the East Temple development. There's been a lot of progress, throughout the years. When I look at the income limits, 16 to 20,000 on one side of town as opposed to 50,000. That's not economically good for our city. So I would like for that to continue. For the growth in the community, so that we can be an equal community. So I am asking the community. I am asking the members of the community and as fellow Christians, that we do the right thing and that none of us deserve to be treated like this. There are protocols and rules that we should all follow. Those who apply to Ms. Morales and to each and every one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Mr. Jesse Jeffcoat.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilman, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jesse Jeffcoat. I live at 2606 Red Wing Drive, Temple, Texas. Back in 1991, I bought my house on Red Wing, and I'm right at the school ground there, and I'm right on the corner of Red Wing and Wing Road, and I'm downhill. And there was a water drainage system there, so it was coming from the school ground, because it runs into my backyard, so I put up a wood fence, and I already had a wire fence, so I put a wood fence next to it, and I also installed some drainage pipes, 3 of them, from the school ground corner to the street, and they've been there ever since then. But one time, well, it's been some time ago, I don't know how long ago, I'm not very good at this stuff, but the city was out there, and they were in the neighborhood, and they were doing some work, and I said something about cleaning out one of the pipes, or drain pipes for the water. Of course, you know how we get rain around here. It's not very often. But when we do get it, it pours at times. Well, they did. They did a good job. They did the drainage, took a cable and put it through there and cleaned it out. But when they tried to take the cable out, well, they broke the pipe, and they were going to fix it. Well, they never did get back to do it. I don't know when it was. Of course, we hadn't had much rain, but it is cracking further on up. Is washing the pipe that's broken, and it's washing the dirt down. So I would like to get them out there and see if they would fix it, if they will. If they won't, well, that's something else. I'll take care of that too. But it's something I would like for them to do. And also, now that's a big detail right now that's talking about, of course, rain. We're not getting no rain, but you never know when it's going to happen. Also, I've been in here before, as you know, about the dogs next door. Well, they're still there. And there's one's a pit bull, the other's excuse me, I got to get my glasses, I got to read. I'm sorry.
Mr. Jeffcoat, your 3 minutes is just about up.
Okay, I'll be right off. Don't worry, okay. It's a bull terrier. One's a pit bull and one's a bull terrier. Okay, but they're still there, and they hit my fence occasionally. They can jump that fence if they wanted to. And I'm just a little bitty fella. And I just better stick over the fence myself. But anyhow, this is all I have to say, and I appreciate being before you, and maybe we can take some action sooner or later.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffcoat.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Ms. Carolyn Jimenez.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. My name is Carolyn Jimenez, and I live at 2316 South 23rd Street, and I am here to support Ms. Judy Morales. and I stand in agreement with my sister Rosa, and I support Judy staying on as a councilwoman. I stand with Judy concerning the East Side development. To remove Judy at this time would be a great setback for Temple, Texas, and its future growth. The contributions and the accomplishments and the years of dedicated service that Judy has given to her work and to this city speak for themselves. I stand and support her with my voice and with my vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ronnie Castor.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council people. I'm here also to express my support for Judy Morales. I understand it's a tough situation for you gentlemen and ladies to be in order to be the leader of our community, but yet to be the follower of the people's. I understand there's certain circumstances, kind of like sailing, you have to adjust according to the wind. But if you come to learn that in repetition, it becomes your reputation. And if you look at the reputation of Judy Morales, she's been in the business of helping out people for over 40 years. And if you understand her character, you understand she's never been the type of person to take advantage of any situation or of any person. She's the type of person that she's always shown you the place to go, and she'll take you there, rather than just give you an example. She'll take you there and be a good example of our leadership. She's been involved with several different organizations in the community that helped us out, and it would be a terrible for us to lose her in the city council because she's done so much good. There's a saying that says that if you hold a child by the hand, you hold the mother by the heart. And that's the way we feel about Judy, except she's the mother to us. And when you hold her by the hand, please remember that you hold the majority of us by the heart, and we ask that you squeeze gently. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castor. Mr. Ron Jeffcoat.
Good evening, all. Thanks for hearing me out, too, on this.
If you'll just state your name and address for the
Ron
record.
Jeffcoat, 2606 Red Wing Drive, and also, I'm there part-time and in Fort Worth part-time.
Thank you.
What I'd like to ask y'all is to think about this. That pit bull and terrier dog that attacked that Chihuahua, what about if it had been a kid from that schoolyard behind us? Because those two dogs had that one dog at each end, pulling him. And it was good citizens that stopped it. What about if it would have been my niece, my grandniece, and my grandnephew that are 5 years old that wanted to pet that dog? What about if it had been them? What I'm asking y'all to think about is this. I've lived in several towns in Texas, and they have rules and regulations about pit bulls and terriers of those natures. Dogs are dogs, good or bad. But it's the training of them. And when a dog or an animal tastes blood, they're going to go after it again. I don't care if it's a bear, I don't care if it's a Chihuahua or a poodle. If they taste blood, they're going to go after it again. I'd like to see the city think about this. What about an insurance policy on pit bulls or terriers or African Staffordshires? Say $100,000 through the Lloyd's of London. What about a fence, 8 foot tall, 3 foot buried into the ground, and also have the owners be able to be bonded to have these dogs? Now, a dog can be trained, true. Y'all saw my father a while ago. What about if they got a hold of my father and I wasn't around to do anything? What about? There's a schoolyard right behind there. Look at all the children back there playing. Those dogs have actually bent the cyclone fence over. And behind that, in my dad's yard, which that cyclone fence is his, we got a landscaping fence this tall. They're pushing that over. They pushed it over so bad that they've uncoupled the fence in their yard, and they've had to put boards standing straight up to keep the dogs in the yard. And here's another thing, too, the hygiene of those dogs. I recently had a chow that I had for 15 years. I had to put him down because of his age and everything. But my dog never had fleas, not once, in his entire life. And I can prove it with my vet bills and everything like that. They couldn't even believe he didn't have heartworms. But yet, every time I come to my dad's house with my dog,
Mr. Jeff, if you don't mind wrapping it up.
every time I had to come to my dad's house with the dogs, I had to infest the yard with flea medicine, plus my house in Fort Worth. But the other thing is, what about Lyme disease and ticks? And you got a school right there, too. All I'm asking is y'all think about these things for the public, not for my dad or anybody else, but the little kids in the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Manuel Alaniz.
Mr. Mayor, other council members, thank you for this opportunity to come before you and share my support for Judy Morales also. I live at 620 South 6th Street. I'm the proud owner of that beautiful yellow house right across the street from Our Lady Guadalupe, in case you never go down there. I owe a lot to Judy Morales. This might sound a little personal, but I feel that I could call Judy at any time. She'd meet me down there, and I could point out a broken street light and get something done. I'm not going to stand up here and bore you with all her accomplishments. I think all of you are aware of what she's done for the city and for this community. And you do have a hard task before you. And I wish you well in making whatever choices and decisions you do make. And I'd like to end by saying that I also support her and everyone else that has spoken for her. Thank you for your time, and thank you for what you're doing to that part of town. I'm sure all of you are involved in one activity or another. It's really feels great to live there. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lydia Alaniz, did you wish to say something as well?
My name is Lydia Alaniz, and I live at 620 South 6th Street also. And I just want to say that Judy has always been our icon. She has made me realize what it is to give to others. Knowing her has made me a better person, because now I am also involved in giving to others, because I've always believed that if I don't get paid, then I don't work. But with her, she does a lot, you know, and doesn't get paid. And I don't think anybody, well, I think everybody knows that Judy gives of herself 110%. And I would appreciate if y'all would consider all the negative things that are being said about her, and consider all the positive things that she has done for our community. I am very proud to live in Temple, Texas, because of Judy. Thank you.
Thank you. Reverend Roscoe Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm Roscoe Harrison. I'm pastor of 8th Street Baptist Church, and I live at 5222 J.I. Bruce Drive. I, too, come to talk about Judy Morales. You know, we're on the eve of the anniversary assassination of President John Kennedy. I remember President Kennedy saying, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." When we heard that we were of that generation, that served as an incentive to many of us to dedicate ourselves to service. Some of us went in the Peace Corps, and some of us dedicated ourselves to community service. Judy Morales was one of those people that dedicated herself to community service. I've known her for 40 years. I remember when she started the Help Center over to South 24th Street. That's when I first met her. And she not only worked untiringly there, but she worked untiringly in many projects throughout the community, and continues to do so. Her latest concern and her latest endeavor, of course, is the redevelopment of East Temple. And I'm so proud of this council for being sensitive to that. But let me tell you one thing. She is a person who loves this city. She's a person who has worked hard for this city. And you know, I saw the President yesterday give a Medal of Freedom that was established and created by President Kennedy. And I said, hopefully one of these days, whether physically or posthumously, a Medal of Freedom could be presented to Judy Morales. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Superintendent Rhodes.
Again, to the mayor, to city council, and those present. My name is Shelton Rhodes. I do pastor Greater Zion Temple, as mentioned just a little bit ago, on the east side, 808 East Central Avenue. I reside at 4210 Hemlock Boulevard here in Temple. But just want to express my appreciation for the dedication and service of Judy Morales and the work that she's done on that east side during her tenure as a city council person. I didn't know her that well prior to it, I just heard of her, but to see the work and action and dedication and service that she has rendered during her tenure here has been tremendous. I've used our church on occasions to try to impact the community in a Bible way. I may deal with the spiritual man, but she's trying to deal with the total man as far as working household budgets and things of that nature as efforts towards revitalization of our great city and redevelopment on the east side. Just want to express my appreciation once again for that work and service of Judy Morales. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Superintendent. Dr. Sue Hamby.
My name is Dr. Sue Hamby, and I reside at 4110 Cripple Creek. And I'm here this evening to speak in support of Council Member Judy Morales. I've not been asked by anyone, including Judy, to speak concerning recent issues that have been brought up, and I'm doing it on my own free will. Recently, I returned about a few days ago. I returned from an overseas trip and was extremely upset when I read the newspaper. I read about the issues, and I couldn't believe it. First of all, I've always been under the assumption that our Constitution provides that every person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. However, in reading and listening to the media, this is not correct. It appears that the media assumes that everyone's guilty until proven innocent, and I have a problem with that, and I do not believe that's what our great nation is based on. I have known Judy Morales for over 33 years and found her to be of the highest integrity and would never do anything within her knowledge that is illegal. First of all, we need to remind ourselves, everyone in this room, of Romans that tells us that all have sinned, Romans 3:23, that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. We all make mistakes, and no one's perfect. There's not a single person in this room that's perfect. And there's not a single person in this room that hasn't broken a law at one time or another. The issue is not just breaking the law, it's the intent of breaking the law. When you speed, you're breaking the law. Your intent is not to break the law, but you get so busy driving on I-35 that you don't realize you're speeding. Of course, that was before TxDOT turned it over. Now you don't have to worry about breaking the law because you can't go fast enough. The main issue is you didn't do it intentionally. And I do not believe that if Judy broke the law, she did it intentionally. Judy is a person who gives unselfishly of her time, her energy, her resources to improve the community of Central Texas. I've never met anyone with such a passion for making a difference in the lives of others. Her efforts are always directed towards endeavors that make positive changes in the world of those who are less fortunate. Most people consider success based on the money or their position in the world. But Judy's definition of success is measured by how much she can leave behind in the lives of others. She's accepted this calling as a 7-day-a-week, do all you can during your waking hours. She started unbelievable number of programs to help the people of Temple, recognizing the need for affordable child care for working parents. She started the Christian Day Care Center. She was a co-founder of Bell County's Judge and Commissioners Committee for People with Disability. She wrote the first Communities in School grant that was implemented in TISD, which provided for counselors in all the campuses. She was the first Hispanic woman chairperson of the Temple Housing Authority Board of Directors, which is commendable since that's a good old boy organization. She was involved with the Temple Transit Advisory Board and worked to get public transportation. She was one of the city leaders who established the Family Promise.
Dr. Hamby,
Yes.
we're
Okay, I'm almost done.
almost out of it.
Okay, she served as chairperson on the Temple College Board of Trustees, and the list goes on. Because of Judy's outstanding leadership ability, she's brought together agencies, organizations, community leaders, and neighborhood residents to work together. She will never be on the Forbes 500 list, but she'll be in the Book of Life. And I believe that when she's done, her scorecard will read, "Well done, good and faithful servant." She has a legacy of 41 years of service, and I think she needs to remain on the board, on the council.
Thank you, Dr. Hamby. Thank you all for your comments. To the consent agenda. All items listed under this section, the consent agenda, are considered to be routine by the City Council and may be enacted by one motion. If discussion is desired by the council, any item may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any council member and will be considered separately. Council, this is item 5A through 5Q. Are there any items that you wish to remove for separate consideration or discussion? I know we're going to pull 5D for voting. Anything else? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 5A through 5Q, with the exception of item 5D.
I move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Madam Secretary.
Councilmember Cloud?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Schneider?
Aye.
Mayor Dunn?
Aye. And item 5D, consider adopting a resolution authorizing a construction contract with R.T. Schneider Construction Company of Belton for construction services required for extension of Westfield Boulevard from Stone Hollow to Prairie View to include extension of a wastewater line and related appurtenances in the amount of $1,586,277,047, as well as declare an official intent to reimburse the expenditure related to the utility portion of this project with the issuance of 2014 utility revenue bonds. I don't think we need a presentation, but this is just for voting. So I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve item 5D. Second.
Madam Secretary.
Councilmember Cloud?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Schneider?
Abstain.
Mayor Dunn?
Aye. Item 6, first reading and a public hearing. Consider adopting an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Garbage and Refuse of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Temple, Texas, to incorporate residential curbside recycling. Mr. Rolda.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. In preparation for implementing the curbside recycling program starting in January, we have a brief presentation outlining ordinance changes as well in support of that. Right now, there's a lot of work happening by staff in preparation for rolling out the program. The curbside residential program will provide recycling at the curbside once a week, combined with garbage collection services once a week, beginning the week of January 4th. There will be some modifications to some of our routing, specifically to the Western Hills area on days of the week changes. Information on that will be forthcoming within the next week or so. And in addition to that, there will be some changes made to routes internally within the system itself. To incorporate all the changes that are necessary to implement the program, updates to Chapter 15 of the Code of Ordinances is required. Adding curbside recycling, listing acceptable items, which include all kinds of paper products, newspapers, white paper, colored paper, cardboard items, plastics of all types, in aluminum steel cans, as long as they're rinsed out and without contamination. Those will all be accepted in the curbside program. and we very much want to encourage participation toward the end goal of success. That being said, we also need to establish a process to address any situations in which our customers are not using the containers properly. As a reminder, and a few highlights of the ordinance include making sure that containers are set out by 7 o'clock a.m. on both your garbage and recycling day, and to remove those containers from right-of-way areas by 8 p.m. Again, the definitions of recyclable materials and garbage, and the specific process by which we want to work with our customers to ensure compliance. The ordinance as established or under consideration sets out 3 times for working with our customers to help them and encourage them to become a part of the process. The first time by some tagging, and then have some discussion with them, just one-on-one. And then after 3 times, we will proceed with removing the container. Those containers may be redelivered at a later date with a reset fee. The costs associated with the recycling would be implemented administratively, but primarily to recover the costs and to really encourage participation with our customers. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this matter may do so. Please step to the podium and state your name and address for the record. There being no comments, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Council, your pleasure on the first reading of this ordinance.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Councilmember Cloud?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Schneider?
Aye.
Mayor Dunn?
Aye. Item 7, first reading and public hearing. Consider adopting an ordinance closing and vacating the First Street Railroad crossing to vehicular traffic.
I just have a short presentation on this one. As we did a short timeline on the first slide, just outlining where we are in the process for the downtown rail safety zone, and this is one piece of it. If you guys remember, I think this all started in about 2011. We went through a couple of reviews by BNSF. In 2012, council directed staff to actually implement the downtown rail safety zone report, and so we're in that process. KPA, our hired engineer, is in the design phase. As you all know, the crossing at First Street will be closed as part of as was advised in that report, and BNSF has asked us to do this formal process of passing an ordinance that closes that crossing. So that's the item that's before you today, and this just outlines that the ordinance asks the City Council to approve the permanent closure of that railroad crossing to vehicular traffic. In accordance with BNSF procedures, the city will later place the end-of-road treatments on each side of the crossing. And those are, as it says, it's 25 feet from the center line on the north side of the track and 35 feet from the center line on the south side of the track. So that's the item before you.
Council, any questions? Ms. Landeros? At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this matter may do so. Please step to the podium and state your name and address for the record. There being no one wishing to speak, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Council, your pleasure on the first reading of this ordinance.
Motion for approval of item number 7 on the agenda. Second.
Madam Secretary.
Councilmember Cloud?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Schneider?
Aye.
Mayor Dunn?
No. Item 8, consider adopting a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 15-acre tract of land near the City of Temple's landfill. Ms. Landeros.
Yes. Today we are asking for authorization to purchase a 15-acre tract of land near the landfill. This is actually the last tract that's needed before moving forward with the permitting process for the expansion. The tract is owned by Mr. and Mrs. Hightower. Like I said, it's 15 acres. The home is approximately 2,200 square feet. The owners have agreed to sell the property for $360,000, and we felt that that was an appropriate offer. Owners will lease the property for 5 years, similar to the other property owners in the area. Estimated closing costs are $7,500, and that's about all we have. The next slide is just seeking authorization to purchase the tract located at 860 Bob White Road for $360,000 with estimated closing costs of $7,500. And any questions, if you have any?
Thank you. Council, any questions or comments? Council, if there's no further discussion, is there a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, if you can make the motion in the in the wordage the verbiage that's written on the screen.
I would make a motion to authorization to purchase a 15-acre tract of land located at 860 Bob White Road for $360,000, estimated closing cost of $7,500.
Motion and a second. Madam Secretary.
Councilmember Cloud?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Schneider?
Aye.
Mayor Dunn.
Aye. Item 9, consider adopting a resolution authorizing a contract with Scott and White Health Plan and establishing rates for substitute Medicare supplement insurance for City of Temple over 65 retirees and the city's contribution thereto for calendar year 2014.
Good evening, Council. Denny Hanley, Benefit Specialist. We're asking that you provide the funding for the 2014 Medicare rates. This is the final year of our contract with the Scott and White Health Plan. The rates are the same that were offered in 2012 and 2013. You do see some increases and decreases. They're not significant. We do see a significant decrease in the highest tier plan of up to $16.50 savings for the retiree. Our funding has always been half of the cost, not to exceed $102 per over 65 eligible. Any questions?
Thank you. Council, any questions for Ms. Hanley? Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item number 9.
Second. Madam Secretary.
Councilmember Cloud?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Schneider?
Aye.
Mayor Dunn.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Happy Thanksgiving.